Right, morning everyone. Welcome to the next part of The Ice Monster, part 11. Wow, and we are up to chapter 51. So, quick recap then. They have decided, so Elsie and Dottie took the woolly mammoth to the old soldiers' home where Dottie's boyfriend, Titch, was living. And they went there and with Wooly, and they decided that they were going to take Wooly back to the North Pole because they decided that was where Wooly kept looking out of the window, and they realised it was because she wanted to head back north. So, do you remember this map? They decided they were going to take this route from England and sail all the way up to the North Pole to take Wooly home to where she's going to go. Okay, so chapter 51. One lonely medal. The Admiral selected his crack team. 10 men threw their scarlet coats and black trousers on over their pyjamas, and, as their medals clinked together, they put on their tricorn hats. Elsie noticed that unlike all the other soldiers, Titch just only had the one lonely medal. Why has Titch only got one medal? She whispered to Dottie. Oh, don't ask that, she replied. It's a sore point. They all tease him for it. Fall in, roared the Admiral. The old soldiers organised themselves into a line. They may have all been battered by age and ill health, but they stood to attention with the same pride as the first day they signed up. Between them, they had served in the Crimean War against the Russians, battled their way across India, and fought the Zulu warriors in Africa. Now they were ready for the adventure of their lives. The Admiral approached the mammoth and saluted her. We won't let you down, Mammoth, he said. Hurrah! Replied Wooly, lifting her trunk as if saluting back. Now, quick, men! Quick, march! With that, he led his team out of the wood. I need to stay here to look after Wooly, said Elsie. You, Titch, sorry. I need to stay here and look after Wooly, said Elsie. You, Titch, gather up all the food you can lay your hands on. There must be something Wooly didn't eat. I'll do my best, said Elsie. I'll do my best, Elsie, replied the private. Thank you, Titch. And Dottie, grab every last hat, glove and coat in here. Load them onto the ship, and then both of you come back and fetch us. Right you are, Titch replied. There were murmurs from the old soldiers. Not sure about Titch being put in charge. He's only a private. Man, he's only got one medal. And that he got for service. No, he's no hero. This egg is repeating on me. Dottie put a comforting hand on her beloved's shoulder. Don't take any notice. I'll show you, boys, said Titch. Now come on, follow me. With that, he led his comrades and Dottie across the wood, and left Elsie alone with her woolly friend. Lock this door, ordered Titch as he reached it. Good thought, replied the girl. I'll knock twice, then I'll let you know if it's safe to open it. Understood. 2 fast knocks or 2 slow knocks? Asked Dottie. It doesn't matter, my love, snapped the soldier. Just 2 knocks. Knock, knock. I'll meet you back here as soon as we're ready to set sail. Elsie rushed over to the door and locked it behind them. Click. Then she crossed the wood to join Wooly. The girl put her arms around her. Don't worry, Wooly, she said. We're going to get you home. Hurrah! Wooly nodded her head. Then the animal yawned, and Elsie did too. Wooly folded down to her knees and rolled over onto her side before letting out a long, slow sigh. Elsie lay down next to her friend, her back nestling up against the animal's belly. The mammoth curled her trunk around the girl and held her tight. This was a world away from the cold tin bath Elsie normally slept in. Together, they closed their eyes. Good night, Wooly. The pair breathed in and out in time with each other, and soon both had fallen asleep. Little did they know that someone was peering in at them through the window. Chapter 52. Rampage. Outside the window to the ward, the top of a ladder had appeared, and at the top of the ladder, a pair of beady eyes, a long nose, and a tiny moustache had appeared. It was Commissioner Barker. He's the policeman, remember? He spied the pair sleeping and signalled to the officers below to keep quiet. What? One called up loudly from the ground. A finger on the lips means be quiet, he hissed back. Righty-o, the constable on the ground shouted up. Shh! Got it, he shouted. As the snow swirled around him, Commissioner Barker slid down the ladder, his feet landing with a crunch in the snow. This time, we're not going to let them get away. Thud! Thud! The noise woke up Elsie and Wooly with a start. The girl was sure she'd heard 2 knocks, but they were much louder than she'd anticipated. She wanted to call out for Dotty, but her throat tightened in fear and she couldn't make a sound. Thud! Another knock. Something wasn't right. It was very wrong. Elsie moved backwards and felt Wooly wrap her trunk protectively around her. She whimpered. Thud! This time the door buckled. Thud! Shards of wood went flying. Thud! Boom! The door smashed off their hinges and fell to the floor. Framed in the doorway was Commissioner Barker, flanked by a dozen of his men holding a battering ram. Are you going to come quietly? He bellowed. Roared the mammoth. The sound gave Elsie strength. No, we're going to come really noisily. With that, she clambered onto the animal's back and gave her a whack on the side. Charge! Shouted Elsie. Wooly knew exactly what to do and galloped towards the men. Hold the line, ordered Barker. The policemen all looked at one another nervously as they linked arms. Hold the line! The policemen gripped one another tightly. Hold the line! Barker was the first to disobey his own order. He broke away from his men and leapt out of the way. All his men followed suit, leaving Wooly and Elsie free to escape down the corridor. Cowards! Shouted Barker. Fools! Of course, the policemen were the exact opposite of fools, sensibly having no desire to be trampled to death by a prehistoric creature. Seeing the flight of descending stairs ahead, the mammoth came to an abrupt halt. Whoa! Cried Elsie, as the force of the sudden stop hurled her through the air. Whiz! And she landed on her bottom with a thud on the top step. Drum! Before sliding down the remaining steps at speed. Bunk, 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 bunk. Wooly looked on with interest. Maybe this was the best way to go down the stairs. So she sat on her bottom and slid down too. Bonk, 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 bonk. These were much bigger bonks. After all, the mammoth had an infinitely larger bottom. But, going by the little yelp she let out as her bottom hit each step, she seemed to enjoy it. Soon the pair were lying in a crumpled heap at the bottom of the stairs. Seeing the policeman arriving at the top, Elsie pulled Wooly along by her trunk. Cried the animal. Spotting an open doorway, they raced in. It was a huge, grand dining room with chandeliers hanging from the ceiling and wooden panels on the walls. Table upon table was laid out neatly for breakfast. Table and table was upturned as the mammoth charged through the room. Crash! Bang! Wallop! A gaggle of cooks dashed out from the kitchen door to see what all the rumpus was about. What is the meaning of this? Demanded one. As soon as they saw it was a mammoth rampaging through the dining hall, they dashed back into the kitchen. Sorry to disturb you. Please carry on, they said. The policeman arrived at the doors. This monster is the property of Her Majesty the Queen, shouted Barker. We have our orders to return it, alive or preferably dead. Immediately, Elsie leaped onto her friend's back so they couldn't shoot and raced towards the set of tall doors at the far end of the room. However, those doors swung open to reveal Matron and a rather pooey-looking group of military policemen holding rifles. We have you trapped, bawled Matron. Now give yourselves up. Never, shouted the girl. The military policemen lifted their rifles. The animal reared up on her hind legs and roared a huge roar. Elsie's head clinked against the bottom of a chandelier. Thinking fast, she grabbed hold of it and swung backwards before launching herself at the doorway. She flew through the air and hit Matron and the military policeman like a bowling ball striking some skittles. Bash! Sending them flying. Ah! Thud, 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 thud. They rolled out of the way as the mammoth thundered past. Elsie sprang to her feet and leaped back onto Wooly as she escaped through the door. Chapter 53. Danger everywhere. The plan was unravelling fast. Now there was no way Elsie and Wooly could wait for HMS Victory to reach the Royal Hospital. Danger was everywhere. They had to keep moving. The pair fled through the doors, past the columns and the statue of the hospital's much-loved founder, Charles II, and across the lawn that led down the Thames. The river was frozen over. Would the ice take the weight of a 2-ton mammoth? With policemen chasing them across the snow with rifles, there was only one way to find out. Bang, bang, bang! Shots rang out. Birds in the trees took to the sky in fear. Elsie ducked her head and dug her heels into the animal's side to make her gallop faster. Hurrah! Wooly charged across the snow and leaped off the riverbank, landing hard on the ice. Thud! Fortunately, the ice didn't crack, but it was slippery from all the ice skaters. The mammoth's legs slid out from under her and she went spinning across the ice. No! Screamed Elsie. They'd hit the ice so fast there was no stopping them. Round and round they whirled, the mammoth's legs splayed out like a starfish. Whizz! Wooly ploughed through some early morning ice skaters who were sent spinning across the ice as if they were part of some mass dance spectacular. Oh! They cried. Sorry! Called out Elsie. Not that the apology seemed to help at all. Up ahead was a small rowing boat that must have become stuck in the ice. They were speeding right towards it. Whizz! The girl closed her eyes. Boom! The boat smashed into pieces. Wood exploded across the ice. The force of the blow caused Elsie to become separated from her friend. No! They each came to a stop on opposite banks of the river. Battered and bruised, the girl rose unsteadily to her feet. She looked across the ice. The poor mammoth was having a much more difficult time of it. Every time it looked like she was back on 4 legs, she would slip from under her and her belly would flop down onto the ice. On her bare feet, Elsie skated over to help her friend. When she saw one of Wooly's legs sliding down, she would lean all her weight against it to push it up. But her little frame was no match for the mammoth, and down they would both go. Finally, Elsie managed to skate around the mammoth, pushing each leg in turn, making sure they were all upright. In the distance, she could see their pursuers gathering on the riverbanks. Come on, she ordered. But as soon as she had led the mammoth one step forward, she landed flat on her belly again. Bosh! Elsie looked across the frozen Thames. There were planks of wood from the boat they had destroyed scattered across the ice. These planks were long and thin and looked a little like the things she had seen posh folk attach to the bottom of their shoes to race down a snow-topped Primrose Hill last winter. Skis. As fast as she could, Elsie skated over to them. She picked up 2 of the planks and a length of rope that must have been lying in the rowing boat before skating back to her friend. Elsie laid them down in front of the mammoth. Then she skated around the back, encouraging Wooly up by pushing her on her bottom. An exhausted Wooly soon got the message and stepped forward onto the skis. In the distance, Barker and his men took to the ice, closely followed by Matron and the military policeman. As quickly as she could, Elsie picked up the rope and held it out in front of the mammoth's mouth. Wooly bit into it. Clever girl, whispered Elsie. Hurr! With all her might, Elsie pulled on the rope. The mammoth inched forward. Darn, this wasn't going to work. Darn and blast. Elsie tried again and really yanked this time. This created some momentum. Soon, The impossible was happening. A real-life mammoth was skiing across the frozen River Thames. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh went the skis on ice. Woo! Called out Wooly joyfully, loving the feeling of speed, her fur blowing in the cold breeze. They passed a man roasting chestnuts on the snow. Lovely morning, remarked Elsie as they slid by. Even the orphans back at Wormley Hall would not believe this. The man stared open-mouthed in shock as the prehistoric animal let out another excited woo! Chapter 54, HMS Victory. Ahead in the distance, emerging out of the fog like a ghost ship, was HMS Victory. The three masts reaching up into the sky. The tall, square stern with dozens of windows, the magnificent crest at the top. At the bottom, written in big, proud strokes with the letters Victory. Elsie couldn't read, but she knew what they spelled. HMS Victory was the most famous ship in all the kingdom, if not the entire world. As she and Wooly skied nearer, she could see the Admiral and his men hoisting the topsail. Closer still, she could make out Dottie, Titch and their team loading boxes onto the ship. The girl couldn't help but smile. They were going to make it. Rat-tat-tat-tat, rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. There was the sound of a machine gun from above. They were being attacked from the skies. Shots scattered across the ice, narrowly missing the pair. The shock caused Elsie to stumble. As she stumbled, so did Wooly, and they hit the ice hard. Boof! Boof! Ah! Elsie screamed in pain. Oh! Cried the mammoth. Elsie looked up. Through the fog, she spotted something the size of a blue whale floating in the sky. It was so large, it was blotting out the sun. It was a Zeppelin. And then it's got a footnote. Named after its pioneer, Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin, a Zeppelin consisted of a gondola under a huge envelope of hydrogen. So can you see this is the gondola, and then this is a big balloon type thing full of hydrogen that would make it fly. It was a Zeppelin, one of the huge state-of-the-art German airships. In the gondola underneath, a woman with a distinctive pith helmet on her head and a murderous look on her face was positioned behind a machine gun. It was Lady Buckshot, the big game hunter. You could smell that foul cigar smoke for miles around. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat, rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Another hail of bullets rained down. They went straight through the ice, blasting holes in it. Bang! Bang! Freezing cold river water flooded onto the ice. Slowly but surely, Elsie, who was still lying down, felt it trickle down her neck and up her sleeves. She looked over to her friend. Wooly was sinking, and fast. Oh! Rat-tat-tat-tat, rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. More bullets, more holes, more cracks, more water, more danger. Oh! Yelled the animal in fear. Elsie held on to her friend's trunk. It's going to be all right, Wooly. I'm going to get us out of this, I promise. Rat-tat-tat-tat, tat-tat-tat-tat. Ooh! The ice beneath them exploded into pieces. Kaboom! The pair were plunged into the deep, icy water. No! Screamed the girl as she disappeared into the depths. Oh, wow, that was very dramatic. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. So, as ever, I hope you are well, and I hope that you've got plenty of things to do at home. If not, go onto our school website. There is loads of things on there for you to do. Also, there is now, from later today, there will be some music activities on there. So there's lots of fun dancing you can do and some music games. And there are some websites where you can make your own music. So I hope you're well. I will see you back here, same time tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Okay, guys, take care. Stay safe. Bye.